Hi. Well, it's time for another random side project in the garage, and today it's got nothing to do with vacuum cleaners or IBM PCs. In fact, it has more to do with this. Come on, shift down please for me. The observant among you might have noticed that I'm in fact talking about this table saw, and if you didn't know I'm talking about a table saw, perhaps the graphic in front of you should have said that. In any case, today is going to be more about learning how to use this thing, or more specifically, what I'm going to need for an upcoming project, because I will need a table saw for an upcoming project, or two, perhaps three, but at the moment I already know that at least one of the tools that comes with this table saw, which I'm not going to name out because it's not amazing, but it's not terrible for the price. Let's just put it this way. This is the angle gauge from this table saw, and you know, it's fine, it's got a gauge on it for selecting your angle, and then you've got a slot so that you can put it in front and go nice. But the problem is with it is it's not very good at sticking to an angle. It's got a lot of wobble. I don't know if you'll see that, but it might not look like a lot at the at this point. But imagine you've got a very long piece that you're trying to cut. That small amount ends up to be a good few degrees in the end. So I might have to look at making a replacement for at least just the track. The rest of it's fine. It's just the track that it rides on. It's just the tolerances are too loose. But that's just the first of that problem. The second problem is, well, I may need to make a... Get off of me. The second being I may need to make a fence for, well, a better fence that comes with this one. And the fence isn't attached at the minute, but I'll get onto that. But mainly it's playing around with it, trying to make a few things for it, and then hoping that at the end of it I still have all 10 fingers. The only other problem that I know about, and this is because I've done some cutting beforehand, is that, well, it's a bit messy. There is actually no underside for the saw, so even though it's got dust extraction built in, it doesn't necessarily do a great job. So perhaps today we might be making a base, but we'll see. About the only thing I do know about table saws is that this thing spins very fast, and very fast things like to cut fingers off. Also, it's unplugged, don't worry. Now, I may seem to be screwing around, and that's because, well, I am, but I do also take safety very seriously. This is a power tool, and it can seriously harm you. To that extent, I will be wearing safety goggles. I will also be wearing a face mask, but I will not be wearing gloves. That might seem contradictory, but if anything, you should be wearing nitrile gloves, if anything, something that's tightly fitting to your skin, because otherwise what will have happen is that the glove will end up getting caught and then pull your hand in. At least that's what I've been told. And that's what I've been told by people smarter than me, and it's probably sound advice that I just listened to them. Also, I should say I have no idea what I'm doing. This video is for entertainment purposes. This is not a tutorial. This is not even a best practices videos. Do not take it like such. Well, you might be needing this. That nearly fell off. I guess the main question then is, what do we make first? Let's make the underside. Now what I got here is one of these measuring tape thingy madobrits, and I'm going to be measuring across here. No, I hate that. Let's not do that. I have stared at the issue, I have thought about the issue, and now I'm contemplating how to proceed. And I think we're going to start with measuring. Really speaking, we're just making a square. Well, we're making a plate. Yes. We're making a plate, and it's going to be square shaped with, if we're really feeling fancy, we can do these chamfered corners. I won't be like sanding it down or painting it or doing anything fancy. This will not be with anything decent. This is not underdone. This is, well, this will be underdone, I guess. Anyway, we're going to start measuring. So this is a very scientific way of measuring. You know, it would actually be easier if I just took this thing off, wouldn't it? It would be easier. Let's do that. Now, at one point in my life, I used to have a load of 10mm sockets. You can guess where this is going. I've had to borrow a few. We're still unplugged, by the way. I'm not that stupid. At least that's what I tell myself. Funny story, actually. First of all, let's undo this hose. Yeah, so this has dust extraction, and I know to use dust extraction. My dust extraction is a dirt devil. I hope that's okay. I mean, it's got a HEPA filter, HEPA, HEPA filter. But yeah, I didn't think getting a whole expensive extraction system made quite that much sense given the scope of my work. And to be honest, it seems to work fine. If somehow I set everything on fire and everything goes wrong, well, you can laugh at me then. But funny story, this little adapter is a little thing that I bought on eBay because obviously the hose for the Hoover, Dirt Devil, whatever you want to call it, I think it's like 1.25 or 1.5 strange imperial measurement units. I'm not quite sure how they work. And this is about 2.5 imperials. Basically, I couldn't find anywhere that was selling an adapter except for on eBay, and I saw this and it looked like a nice solid piece, and so I ordered it, and then I found out it's actually a 3D printed part. And in that moment I thought to myself, you know, that makes sense, 3D print the part. Also, I could have done the exact same thing, but I don't have a 3D printer, so I've got an adapter now, so really what am I complaining about? I've got two 10mm things. Let's undo some stuff. Don't you hate it when your hose get in the way of everything? Sorry, for a brief moment I forgot how do bolts work. Right, just to prove that I am in fact an idiot who doesn't know what he's doing, I'm going to be lifting this off the table stand on my own. You should have two people for this, but okay. Right, with that out of the way, it's finally time to get started on this base. Yeah. Right, so what would make the most sense to me is that we measure the X and the Y of what the square that we need to cut, and if we so want to, we could measure the corners. But as for the screw holes, I'm kind of thinking I'm going to mark them with the table saw in place, or drill them with the table saw in place. I'm not so sure if that's a good idea, but we'll find out. Right, let's have a look. So we've got, oh, would you look at that, it's more of those funny imperial Medubrits. 19 of them. Okay, I'm guessing because it's a square. Oh, wait, what? How the, okay, so it's less, how does that work? So it's less on the Y direction than it is on the X direction. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I did put this frame together, so I could have screwed it up. There's always that, but okay. I'm going to make the executive's decision to go with 19 by 19 Imperials. But now I need to decide on what kind of wood I'm going to use. And I think I've got just the thing. What I'm going to be using is this 6mm sheet of MDF straight from B&Q's shelves. Okay, look, it's the only thing I had laying around in this unit, okay? I mean, I'll do the job. Sorry, so we need to measure 19 states by 19 states and then figure out if we need to do any more adjustments. Also, what's pertinent is to which is the straightest corners, because then I can just cut and cut. And I think it's this corner down here. I don't know if you can actually see that, so I'm just gonna move that corner. Right, let's go. using the world's greatest tape measure. I may be lying there. Right, I need a pencil. I need many things. Well, I went looking for a pencil. I found pens, but no pencils. I've really got to stop doing that. That's bad. Pen's gonna work. I want to use that one. Right, 19. Pen bloody doesn't work. Get out of my face. I trusted it and it didn't work. 19, please. And then we'll do another 19. Right. Now, of all the high quality tools that I do own, apparently a long ruler is not one of them. I have this, however, which I am now just realising probably won't work out well for me. But it might. If I put a bolt in here. According to that, that's 0 degrees. Oh, that's supposed to be on top. Oh, that's supposed to be on top. That ain't 0 degrees, don't lie to me. How do I have such a problem with measuring devices just never lining up? I'm already questioning my tools and we haven't gotten started with the actual table saw. And the funny thing is, it almost seems to be just about 19 imperial units long. Right, now realistically speaking, I could cut this on the table saw, but this is an unwieldy piece and I do not have a big flat bed on it, as you've seen. So what I'll probably do is, I will probably use a jigsaw. I'll use a jigsaw to cut down this about there, and then I can feasibly cut it a bit more easily on the table saw. Yes, I'm using the table saw to make its own base. It feels like a 3D printer thing. Safety squints engage. These are horrible. That'll work. Right, I've got my incredibly old Black & Decker, which is, I don't actually think is mine. Sorry, Carl. Let's go and get this cut down. I wonder, do I have... You know what? That's what this is for. This is for allowing me to cut this down a bit straighter. Not that it really matters, because I'm going to be using the table saw, but... Look at that. About as straight as my car can drive forward. $10mm spanners are always trying to escape, I told ya. You know, I'm gonna need longer bolts. Let's continue anyway. Right, one thing I do know about this whole cutting business malarkey is the fact that the blade itself is going to cut out about, I don't know, a couple of mil slot in anything it goes through. So any measurements I make, I need to account for that cutting. I don't know what the term is. I'm new to this whole thing, but I need to account for it is what I'm saying. What I might do is cut this down. You know, now I think about it, it'd be really nice if I had one of those zero clearance cutting slides or sleds, whatever they're called. I can only cut it down. Yeah, I can only cut it down basically to the length of these slots. Wait. The hell am I thinking? No, I don't. This thing moves. When will you learn that? Right, so Now I'm not going to put my hands anywhere near the blade because this is now plugged in, and if I turn it on it could be bad. There's quite a few things I fear, and things that spin very fast is one of them. Saw blades, lathes, laser discs. I hope that thing doesn't fly out. They're all terrifying. Right, but what I do need to do is just quickly figure out, because first of all, there's a height I need to cut, and I'm slightly below that. So I think I need to raise the blade like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a big chunk off of it first. I'm not going to care about accuracy, I'm not going to care about where I'm cutting. Maybe I will care. Sure, I do need to use this in future. So if I cut this so that I've got about 300mm of wiggle room. As you can tell, I'm very new to this whole game. Safety squints, mask. And yes, I'm putting a mask on even though I've got an extractor. Already I don't like this hose. As you saw, it was getting in the way there. I think I did a stupid thing, and that was pushing this whilst it was trapped between two places, because once you cut through it, it couldn't get caught. And now think about it, is this really a good idea to have this on? I mean, in principle it sounds sane, have a guard over the spinny thing of death, but it does seem to get in the way. I digress. Alright. So now we have our board is a lot smaller, our blade has cut a nice cut. If anything, it's not cut it perfectly true, but I didn't expect a lot from this. Right, now what I might do is move this to the other side. Now, can someone who's more clued up tell me whether this is a good idea or not? I have been told that putting a piece of wood, or like a wooden block here, between the piece you're cutting and your fence is a better idea because of kickback. Now, I've had pieces kick back on me, but that's usually when I'm doing horizontal cuts. When I'm doing big flat cuts, they seem perfectly fine. I know that a riving knife is supposed to help with that, but I'm still not sure if it's the best idea. Yeah, I really need to make a sled, don't I? Maybe that'll be the next project I do. I mean, MDF is relatively cheap, so I mean, what? It's going to be 2 sticks basically in a flat piece of wood. That's basically all it is, isn't it? If I took that off and then move my fence here, no, because it's gonna. Because the cut I did on the jigsaw wasn't particularly straight anyway, so I just end up going to be moving it about. I literally cannot put it on because the little knob, I guess, knobs, wood and screwing, great video titles, it's not going to let me do that. I mean, it's trying to guard against me put my fingers in there, because whatever it sucks up is not particularly great anyway. I feel this is wrong. If someone is able to tell me otherwise, I'd be grateful to hear, but I think this is going to be doing it wrong. It worked, but it didn't exactly keep it parallel. Also, I burnt the wood a bit. Don't know what that means. Am I going too fast, too slow? I'm doing something wrong because that doesn't look right to me. But hey, it is working. Technically, sorta. So I'm gonna just continue. I'm not sure I'm happy with that. Well, I'm not happy with it, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem, is what I mean to say. Because it's definitely not straight. I mean, what? Yeah, we're about a quarter of a colony over there, and then we're about, what? Yeah, we're closer to 19 imperials there. Which is fine, because for whatever reason, it measured less in one direction than the other, despite the fact it's a square. Now, if my fence was long enough or I had a slide, I would probably do that small corner, but I don't think it's going to make much difference. In fact, if anything, I've got a sander if I really want to. I don't know if I can be bothered, quite honestly. I should have cut that straighter, but... Can you tell I'm new at this? Right, an executive decision has been made, and that decision is, I don't care. This is literally going to go underneath the thing anyway. I'm just going to continue. I don't have that much time up here anyway, and I really need to be finishing up. So I'm going to clean up the table a bit, and then I'll stick this on top. I won't be able to fit it today because, well, I need longer screws. I don't have them at the minute. Bolts, sorry. So yeah, gonna clean this up, take this off, and put it down. We'll mark it up. We'll see if it's gonna work. And if it's completely scrap, I'm just gonna call it a day. Oh, sorry. Did I say there's gonna be no cleaning or vacuuming today? Sorry, I lied. Well, by sheer chance or miracle, he at least fits, which is good enough. That's all it needs to do. I might cut the corners off. I mean, I'm good at cutting corners, so... Right, am I going to do any fancy pants measuring when I do this? No. Wow, I can't believe how far off I cut all of that. Now I've got the problem of I've got to line it up to the table, or the stand. Okay, so that's that marked. Safety goggles as per usual. Well, if 2 bolts go in, then the other should, if those could go in, then the other should too. I've just realised anyway, this kind of doesn't make that much sense because there's all these little gaps along the sides. This has not been a well thought out plan. Sounds like a typical video of mine. Right, well, I can't say I'm happy with it, but I can say I have definitely learnt a few things. I'm not sure what I've learnt, and I could blame my tools for not doing a good job, but ultimately only a bad craftsman blames his tools, and the tool that has been at most fault here has been me. But as for this, I'm sure it will help to some degree. I'm not sure how much it'll help. I'd really have to seal it off, but I'm also not sure how much I should care, is the other thing. What I have definitely learnt, however, is that I definitely need some kind of sliding tray. I think for anything large scale, and there's going to be a few things that will be large scale, it would definitely help. I'm not sure quite how I'm going to do it. I'm guessing I'm going to be making a slide at some point. So I might get some measurements to make a slide, and then we'll go from there. But really, like I said, this is mainly a learning experience to understand this tool a bit more. And I've definitely realised a few things, so I think I'm going to go away and I'm going to have a strong, hard think of what I've learned here today. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Bye!